What's happening, Hardscapers? Today it's an office day and I thought I'd sit down and walk you through one of my projects before we even start the project and let you know what I'm looking for on that initial consultation to plan out, propose a design, and go from there with the client. Let's get into it. Let's start with the entry point of this project. We'll hit play here and walk you through, and I'm going to hit pause right away and show you how much space we have from wall to the house. Especially with that downspout coming down, we do not have a lot of room here to bring in a machine. I believe we had 25 inches on this project, so that's not possible to bring in a machine on this project. So we opted for a synthetic base or using a gator based product to limit the amount we're excavating. This allowed us to bring in a sod cutter to complete the excavation. We piled that sod and took it out to a bin in the front, and we just hand dug the trench for this wall. This is not something we try to typically take on, but this was a word of mouth client. I really liked the client when I met them, and this was a great opportunity to show not only a gas fire pit that we're going to do on this, also a modern backyard living space with a retaining wall and hardscape lighting all throughout this project. So it was a great project to add to my portfolio. Additionally, this was just a 2-minute drive down the road from my supplier. Normally when I meet my clients, I meet them at my supplier. We pick out some products that really speak to them. And then I've always got this project that I can take them to really blow them away, sell them on that gas fire pit, sell them on that landscape lighting. And this is actually something that I did with my final project of the year, where we did that pond build, walkway, gas fire pit, steps coming down. So this is already sold and returned on investment what we put into it. So we're going to continue through the gate here and right away pause it to show you the slope coming down from one side of the yard to the other. You'll see that a lot of this, the majority of this yard is fairly level, but we get to about the 3/4 way point and this slope meets the top of the fence here. So when I see this, I immediately know that if we want to make as much usable space for this client as possible, we're going to need a retaining wall. And that retaining wall is going to retain the slope going along the right side of this fence here in order to flatten out the entire area, giving them as much usable space as possible. So we need to measure where that starting point is going to be with that retaining wall at this slope. And we want to make sure we're giving them enough space to get into this backyard from that point on the retaining wall to this deck post coming down. We do not want to impede their passage from this entry point into their backyard, essentially giving them as much space as possible to enter at that point. As well as to the left of that point, we're going to have a stepping stone walkway for them to also enter onto the patio if need be. We're going to press play here again, and we put in a gas fire pit feature. So the subcontractor has already come out. They've already put in their connection for the gas fire pit from the house. We've run our trench at least 18 inches down to the top of that gas fire pit pipe. And we're going to hit pause here. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up, like it, comment below what you would have done differently on this project. I'd love to know your design options, what you think we should have done with this project. Leave a comment below and let me know. And if you aren't already, subscribe to our channel for more hardscape content. Let's get back to the video. And look at where the house is with the level of the yard. Now that's already a little bit too high, but we're going to essentially keep that same height for this patio because that gives us just enough space, just enough slope from that door all the way to the backyard here. Just enough. We're very close. We get about 1/8 of an inch per foot here slope from that door to this back of the yard. And that's going to work because we're using a smooth surfaced slab. So it's not going to trap water on any textures that's on it. And we're also going to use a semi-permeable jointing compound on this to allow that water to get through the joints and follow our subgrade out to this drainage area. And now there's an easement here. You can see a little bit of the pipe coming up. So we essentially knew that we could not encroach on that easement, and we stayed a good distance away and just made that a nice decorative aggregate area where the slope of the water will follow and hit that decorative aggregate and work its way down, and we're not encroaching on that easement. And we're going to hit pause here again and show you that even at this corner of the yard, that slope is still moving up. So we know that we need to not only build a retaining wall going along the right side of the fence, but also a short L at the back of the yard to where it starts to level out. So our retaining wall in this case is going to be L-shaped. And with that retaining wall, we're essentially going to be able to retain that slope, give the client a nice little garden bed to put whatever they want into it. And with that, everything else can meet the height of our level that we set along the house to that 1/8 of an inch slope to the back of the yard. Also, with our fire pit, we want to be 10 feet away from any structures. So we made sure that there was really only one place we could put that fire pit. So we measured out from the fences to be able to establish that and set that up. And along here, we're going to put that stepping stone walkway because this is essentially unusable space. There's no point to extend that patio further into this. Instead, what we can do is make this a nice entryway for our client to come through the gate and into this backyard, or vice versa, from the house through the stepping stones and through the gate if need be. So a nice little access area that's less expensive than extending that patio through there. It also helps us to adjust to the height, to the slope that the gate area sets, as that's really slopes down there at that point compared to where our patio is going to be. And as you can see here from this side along this fence, it's a nice sloping area that we are going to work with, that our top of stone is going to match along here. Also along the fence, we need our edge restraints still for our slabs. So essentially we're going to have about 4 to 6 inches out from the fence with an edge restraint, and we're going to put our decorative aggregate along there as well, because we can't use the fence as our edge restraint. It's not a support. It's not the foundation. That is why we are having that decorative aggregate going along the fence there. This just shows some of the problem solving that you're going to have to get into when it comes to first meeting with a client, especially with a blank canvas, and suggesting them design solutions for their backyard to be able to make sure they're getting the most usefulness space out of their backyard. It's really important to let the client, allow them to let you know what they want out of their space, what they want to get out of it. And then with that, you can start to suggest them some ideas. This is a small space, so there's really only a limited amount of ideas that we can pitch our client, but this was the best one because they essentially wanted as large of a patio as possible with this. Thank you for watching today's video. Once again, give this video a like if you want more of this content. Comment below if you want to see more about what we do when we initially meet with the client, or if you want more of these videos where we walk through a previous project from start to finish and let you know how and why we planned out that project. This just lets me know if you want more of these types of videos moving forward. Give that thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks for watching.